Hi. With so much information online, most people like to get in there and do some research when they're getting ready to buy a car. So if you want to do that, go ahead and jump in. But don't let yourself get totally overwhelmed with information overload. You're going to read. There are so many great cars out there, and there are opinions about everything, good and bad. I can put someone into a car and they'll sit down and say, wow, I love this car. It's so comfortable. And 2 hours later, I can put a different person in the exact same car and they'll say, ugh, this is the most uncomfortable seat I've ever sat in. So just remember that reviews and opinions are all subjective. Do your research if you want to. Don't get too caught up in it. The most important thing is that you find a car that you like. That's what really matters. I do have one piece of advice for you, and this comes from my own experience, something that I learned a couple of years ago on the last time I bought a car. And I grew up with this mindset. My family, they were basic transportation people. We just need a car to get to point A to point B. So, I always bought cars that way too. That's how I was raised. And a couple of years ago, I needed a used car and I was shopping totally by price. I would look at anything in my price range and I was just looking for the best thing I could find for the money at that time. And I happened upon a car that seemed like, wow, it had a lot for the money. And, with used cars, you don't get to pick what's going to be on it, what's not on it. It is what it is. And this particular vehicle was loaded to the hilt. That is not a car that I would ever choose if I had bought it new. I would have looked at the basic trim line, no fancy bells or whistles. Well, you know what happened? I fell in love with this car. I realize now that I will never buy the baseline car again. I don't like bare bones, and the difference in the quality of my life. We spend a lot of time in our cars and we spend a lot of money on our car payments. The difference in the quality of your life between driving a car every day that you don't really care about and being in a car that you love is amazing. So my biggest advice to you is don't be afraid to try something new and find a car that you really love, because that really is what it's all about.